Bill. In the name of the Father Bill, and the Son Bill, and the Holy Spirit of Bill. Nam myoho renge Bill, nam myoho renge Bill, nam myoho renge Bill. Oh, yes. Hello? Yes, Will. Yeah? Franken, thank you for calling me back. Okay, great to hear from you. Yeah, really appreciate this. Okay, so good news. The show is going to go ahead. Talked to my father, he's going to lend me the money to rent the theater, so we're good there. Good to go, got that locked in, so all systems go for Bill Fest. Just waiting, we would love to have your confirmation. Who are you? Oh yeah, who am I? Yes. Yeah, good question. Yeah, okay, should have started with that. I presumed I left it on the message, but maybe not. Yeah, okay, I am Phil Sticks, comedy promoter. Have you heard of me? No. I've got a page up on Bumbleabout. I don't have that. Have you got that platform or not? No. And there are so many, I forget like how many platforms I've got. But, yeah, I'm a promoter. I also do a bit of podcasting on the side. Not my main thing, but... It's kind of a mixed comedy. Yeah, what do you want? What's the point? What's the point? Yes. All right, that's why I love Americans. They're just so like, it's okay, just go. I've got to go buy a gun, I need my freedom. Get out of my way. Okay, what is the point? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm a comedy promoter and I'm promoting a comedy show and it's going to be called Bill Fest. We're going to have it here in Bilton Keynes. Kind of a celebration of kind of American comedy because I just love American comedy so much. It's so, right, I'm here. And basically it was going to, like people like Bill Burr, you must have heard him, we got Bill C.K. I would love to, unfortunately he's dead now, I would have loved to have the great Bill Hicks, because I just think he was the most... I mean, you're American, you probably know, like... I've heard of him, yes. He was like, I'm not afraid, I'm going to go there. And I just think he was like kind of like a serpent with, clairvoyancy. He could really see, or anything that has ESP. I just think he was such a visionary. I don't really like Bill Hicks. You don't like? Yeah, you know what? That's interesting you say, because I don't really think he's that really good myself. Yeah. I know a lot of people saying, oh yeah, he's the best ever, he's like, but no, I never really. I wouldn't call him like a visionary. You just did. I did just call him a visionary. I did, yeah, but I would not do that again. So what do you want? Yeah, right, okay, so basically it's going to be a festival. You know that Bill Hicks, everybody always thinks the same on that guy. You know that? No, I agree with you. Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm like, why can't you think for yourself? Yeah. They just don't do it, do they? So what? Anyway, so the gig is going to be called Bill Fest, like I said, I don't know why. And it's going to be in Bilton Keynes. And we're going to, it's going to be kind of an exciting night. It's going to be a bit of a charity night. Charity for what? Well, it's for an organisation called Better Central Heating Units for Southeast Britain. That sounds like a company. No, it's a charity. What we're going to do, we're going to have people are going to go out that night to see the comedy show, and then they're not going to be at home, so they're going to save money not having to centrally heat their home that night. So it's kind of... How much are tickets? Thinking maybe 715. That's a lot of money, man. Basically, the bottom line is it's going to be a fun night of comedy, and you're going to have some Americans on, and because I just love American comedy. It's so, it's like I'm going to be Bruce Willis, Who are you? Phil Sticks. I'll let you know, man. Yeah. Hope to hear back from you, and hope you. I gotta go, man. Well, do think about it. Yeah. Cheers. All right. Yeah. Tell me something, Bill. Call back. Yeah. It's salamander.
Yes, salamander.
So quid pro quo, what I was discussing the other day, I like to weaponize your intelligence and your talent in order to perpetuate a culture war overseen by trillionaires with the purpose of keeping the working classes at each other's throats. And as this takes place, of course, my paymasters become very rich.
I have to stop you. I have to stop you.
Now look, I am a comedian. I am not a politician. This is cultural, Will, cultural.
Cultural, whatever
the fuck you're talking. I do comedy. That's what I do. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I do. I've been very
clear. You know that I'm a comedian, right? But I have no
fucking idea what it is that you do. Every time I ask you what you do for a living, you just say China. Like you just did. You say China. Yes. Every time I ask you, what do you do for a living?
That's all you say is
China.
Yes.
Just like that. You know that I'm a comedian. My dad was a builder.
If you never met my dad, he would have said, hello, I'm Bill. I'm a builder. And you would have said, hello, I'm
China. You understand? That makes absolutely no sense. You understand? So you're telling me that every time I say, what do you do for a living? And you say, China. You're telling me that you do
or are
China. It's all a bit hush-hush, Will. Listen, I may have a gig for you on breakfast television. Breakfast television. Okay, now can I ask you?
Does this mean that I would finally get to do some comedy on television?
Yes, of course. Okay, well that's good because, that's
good. I happen to have a brand new bit about these.
Lethal injection. Did you say lethal injection? I did. See, I don't want to do political shit. Well, you could do something about Rwanda.
Rwanda?
Lethal injection, you're talking politics.
This is what you do, right? You do politics for a living, don't you?
China.
You know what?
China yourself, motherfucker. I am not interested. Why are people so creepy? Creepy.
Why do we do things we do not like to do?
Who are you?
I am the voice of reason.
Voice of reason, huh? Okay, smart guy, give me a reason or two.
I think too many people are suffocating because they can't be who they should be in this life. They suffer with strangulated potential. I mean, what is self? What defines a human's personhood? What is the essential being that distinguishes them from others?
I never really wanted to be a comedian.
Really? What did you want to be?
I wanted to be the Uruguayan entry at Eurovision 1987. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know if you really care.
This is a good song.
I don't know what you would do without me.
I like it.
Maybe you think you'd be better off. I heard the doorbell today and I went to the door and opened up the door and I thought it might be you, but it wasn't you, it was just empty air. I went to the door last night and thought I heard the doorbell again, but I was wrong, so wrong. I don't know what I would do without you. Everybody sing. I don't know what I would do without you. Everybody sing. I don't know what I would do without you. You're not singing. I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you, Vision. Thank you. Strongest music of the world. Uruguay is points. Uruguay, 12 points. What an amazing show there from Uruguay this year. It is always good to have a newcomer here to the Eurovision Song Competition because I truly do believe, as you do too, that music is the song of the world.
It's true.
I've got the song in my heart, I've got the wind in my soul, I've got the thumbs on my hands and it's A-OK.
The reason I'm crying is because I know that is the song you won with next year.
Yes, next year we will finally climb to the top of the leaf of the flower petal. At last.
At last.
At last.
No, that was a joke. I always wanted to be a comedian.
It was a joke!
Yes.
You said a thing that you didn't mean.
All right, it wasn't that funny. It's not like I said, and then I went to the shops.
And then I went to the shops. Glue paste, age 45. Right, who is going to publish my memoirs? W.H. Smith or... Hey, it's a bleeding fairy.
Fairy? Oh, that's hate speech.
I never know nothing what I never did know, but I don't know which, but I don't know that, but here's what I do know, I never did that.
Calm down, working class man. I'm being ironical. I'm being ironical. I'm a joke, and the joke is, I say I believe in hate speech, but I really don't believe in hate speech. My name's Britannia McGrath, and I should have died in 2016. I'm a joke. I'm one joke. I'm only one joke. When I say I'm a joke, I don't mean I'm a comedian. I'm no comedian. I'm a joke. The medical term for what I am is a fake Twitter profile. I was born in the mind of an Oxford University graduate and current MI5 employee. And in 2016, I was clinically funny for about 5 minutes. And then I was funny no more. But my creator, and I choose to call him my creator because I tried to be a spiritual fake Twitter profile, told me I was special and I had a special role to play in the coming war, the war of the culture. Or was it the culture war? Anyway, he always reassures me and tells me jokes have nothing to do with comedy. Being one joke is not a disability, but it can be lonely. I don't know where I'd be without my frisbee. And then there's my long, beautiful blonde hair. Love brushing it. I've also got my frisbee. I've also taken up collecting black coffee cups. I think I've got 3 now. Oh, there's 4. That's nice. Then of course I've got my frisbee. I'm good at throwing it, not so good at catching. The first thing you notice when you're not funny anymore is the silence. When you've been made to go on for as long as I have, it's not just silence anymore. People saying things like boring or unpredictable or didn't you just say that yesterday and last decade? Those are the times I turn to my creator in prayer, and he comforts me, tells me that people are afraid to engage in a free and open debate. I trust him on that because I know he's been on his own personal journey of refusing to engage in free and open debate. I'm an only joke. I don't have any brothers or sister jokes, but I do have people that look out for me. I don't know where I'd be without Joe Rogan, Piers Morgan, Lady Claire Fox from the House of Lords, or the BBC, GB News, Koch Brothers, Spiked Online, or Shell Oil, The Spectator, Number 10, When You're Living on Borrowed Time, Pedigree Chum, Each Day is a Bonus, Double Bum, Chewing Gum Blum, when the world is filled with so many people fighting over their differences, and the Cheesecake Twins. It's nice to know you can still get up each morning, double bubble chewing gum, and have something the same to look forward to. The United States military, that's me. David's Oil Company, Mike's Bank, Peter and the Shoe Factory. I say I believe in hate speech, but I really don't believe in hate speech.
Alright! I see. You said something you didn't believe as if you believed it, but you didn't, and that makes it kind of like a double switch, like that, nice and layered. Very smart, very satirical, very pertinent, and very, very, very funny. Could we be friends?
I don't want to be your friend, you miserable little grub worm. I want to mobilize your disenfranchisement for political gain.
Hey! Mobilise my disenfranchisement? Oh, right. Okay. Well, in order to be your friend, if I've got to be disfrenchman, I surely will. Wow, that's a different experience, you know. It's a lot easier to cross the channel with a mustache and a bear eye. Anyway, I've been living in the Britain for some time, and it's been really hard for me after Brexit and all, you know, waters. Our waters, your waters, our waters, your waters. I've been watching with great interest the career of Labour leader Keir Starmer. And you know, I kind of feel sad for the guy because he's got no personality at all. He goes out there every day, he's like, I'm fighting. It's like, with what? You're like the marshmallow man. Fluff, fluff, fluff. But it must be hard for him because I know for a fact that he was meant to be a really steamy songstress from the 1930s, you know. I mean, can you imagine him being the leader of the Labour Party? In my opinion, it's a bit like, I don't know, Marlene Dietrich working at a chip shop in Preston.
Willkommen, meinen Damen und Herren, in Chipsläden in Preston. Und jetzt begrüßen Sie bitte unseren eigenen heimischen Herzenbrecher, singenden Jungs im Hinterzimmer, Sir Keir Starmer.
See what the boys in the back room are saying, and tell them I'm saying it too. Go see who the boys in the back room are being, and tell them I'm being it too.
Demons.
Sure, we've all got demons. I don't let mine trip me out that much. I mean, if we didn't have demons, would we be people? Well, yeah, we'd be people, but people without demons. I keep my inner demons here in this Gordon's gin bottle. It's pretty sentimental to me. I used it 2 days ago to drink some gin, but my demons are still in there. Stay in there! When they act up, I just think, you know what? Hey, that's some inner child shit, man.
Fuck off. I ain't your inner child or anyone's inner child. Bollocks.
Easy.
Twat-head.
Hey, simmer down, Pop-Tart.
Piss pot.
Hey, now, come on. Where did you learn to
Lip
speak
sync
like that?
gingerbread.
Who taught me to speak like that?
Wind chime facilitator.
You may think
You're
me.
a right moonland
You are a
atrocity,
reflection of
ain't
who
ya?
I was.
Schned.
I know that is...
Mickle.
Wash your face out.
Chicken
with mouth
garden.
soap.
Lady Falcon.
Frying pan ears.
Hallowed mint.
Mr. Halibut.
Scotch tape.
Oh, Scotch tape.
Excuse me.
Oh.
I need some scotch tape. I'm making a sidewalk jello on rye for my optometrist. Popsicle Lysandras. Razor blade chartreuse. Dunning-Kruger.
The world does seem to be a very polarized place right now, sort of very, very opposite-y, and a lot of very fiery debates around things like freedom of speech and speaking freely. Hello, I'm Timothy Timid. Welcome to the Are We Still Allowed to Say That podcast. We've got some exciting news from the free speech front, in the front of the wall for free speech. We've got issues coming out of Harvard this week, and Cambridge, and Princeton, and Yale. So a lot of real salt-of-the-earth issues involving tenure and, speakers in gender-critical studies. Sorry, my sound man's away in Tahiti this week, but that's from our recent Culture War series. We've got a lot of exciting stuff happening in this program. I want to start off with my favorite free speech quote of all time by a free speech man. He's a really cool guy named Voltaire, and probably one of my favorite of free speech person ever. He was really into speaking freely, and he was a French free speech man. So a lot of his stuff was written in French, but there are translations of it. And my favorite quote of his is something that I forgot to bring today. But I think I've pretty much got it memorized. Voltaire said something like, "Just you want to say something, just say it." And I think that's the whole principle, and it has been behind this podcast, which is called Say It Now, just like you did in the olden times. And I want to show something, a little mini documentary. Sorry, I'm speaking a little French now myself, Voltaire, thank you. No, I want to mention, if you haven't seen the adverts for Piers Morgan's new program, I'm an old man speaking the olden times way. I really highly recommend it. I've seen some test pressings and it rocks. Really a lot of free speech stuff Piers is laying down there. If you haven't seen the adverts, I think one of my favorites, and I think one that really speaks to what's going on right now is there's two Piers Morgans on the poster. I don't know how they did that, but they got two of them. And one's got a halo and one's got the devil horns, and it says something like, you know, love him or hate him. And I like Piers Morgan because he's somebody I look up to and say, there's a man who really says it. And that's why I called this program, Hey, I've got something to say, and I think I can still say it. Is it all right? May I please say it? Podcast. So, but without any further ado, my friend sent me this last weekend. I find it very educational, informational. My friend Derek If from the LastAmericanMan.com sent this along. Great sort of info documentary on where we get our information and how the sort of cycle works. So pretty eye-opening, and I encourage anybody who's into, you know, saying things freely might enjoy to watch this. I hope.
The Reimenheimer Circle, so named by Dr. J. Circle, not to be confused with the Reimenheimer Square by Professor Gustav K. Reimenheimer of the Gestalt University in Svelk, who was the first doctor person to use the name Reimenheimer in relation to geometrical figures. But that's neither here nor there nor here. Today's program focuses on the Reimenheimer Circle, first postulated by Dr. J. Circle in 2015. It is a geometrical representation of how information travels from point A to point 10. That is to say, if you will, ipso factum factus phi, how information travels from point 10 to point A. Let us posit a hypothetical subject. Let us call her Benign Barbara from Bromley, Britain. Like so many of today's citizenry, Barbara is a dedicated consumer of various information.
Well, I never! Whoa, bloody Laura! What? Oh, it can't be true.
But how does Benign Barbara from Bromley, Britain get her information? According to Reimenheimer, as well as authors such as Solveig and Hev from the Flott Institute of Information Blueprint Mapology, people like Barbara get their information from what is known as the press, or if you will, ipso madrigal forte, the media, or if you willer, fectum fi fo, the press media, or media press. Like all institutions, except for outer space ones, the press media or media press is made up of human people. People like Bernard Sandcastle, news editor of the right-leaning, left-meaning, extreme edges of the center, bipartisan, one-party, square peg, round hole, you say goodbye, I say hello, underground, overground, wambling, freelance, corporate interest, interested party, shoot from the hip hip hooray.
I want it to be Hunter Thompson. I want it to be Woodward and Bernstein. I want it to take that President Nixon and just give him one, right? But then you realise life shows up, it's a bit of compromise, right? Then you got two cows in the garage, right? You got one cow in bed, right? Yeah. Maybe you got a juggle, right? You got to make that.
Daily Guardian male socialist youth Hitler worker.
We're not in the 60s anymore, are we? 70s have gone and come, right? 80s, they were there. Big time for me. Big time like old Toads, right? And by the way, let me just say, Mr. Young, where is it? Let me just say, Mr. Young, right? Weatherspoon News, this is great. Time to stand up for free speech. I love it, mate. Yeah, Tobes. Whatever happened to the, you were in Epstein's black book, was it? They know, he's a rookie. No. Look, would you have become a journalist if you thought he wasn't in Jeffrey Epstein's black book? Come on.
But where, oh where does Mr. Sandcastle get his information? Now this is where things start to get really interesting. Wake up, mother, and pay attention.
I have the courtesy, right, for all those people saying, you're so far out of touch with the working classes, you don't know anything about the working classes, what do you know about the working classes, how can you know about the working classes? Anybody who says that shit to me, I said, if I didn't care about the fucking working classes, do you think that I would know how stupid they are and try to give them some fucking truth? I know they're fucking stupid. That's why I puff up pieces about Meghan fucking Markle's earrings, because I know they could, and I slip a little bit of truth, and they're like, yeah, but the truth was, they were fucking shit earrings. I'm not a fucking earring expert. I mean, you know, that's my wife's department. You know, I think that's what she's doing now. So what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to go out with Rad, Tad, Mad, and Lad from the mag. And what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to go shop for earrings.
Many people often make the mistake of assuming information only travels from the press to the Barbara. This is known as the Reimenheimer very short line, named by Lupus Reimenheimer, the son of Gustav K. Reimenheimer of the Reimenheimer Square, and not the Reimenheimer Circle by Dr. J. Circle, which is what we're talking about here. The short line theory is a mistake, and people who choose to believe it would be sorely mistaken, and I mean with bruises and all. Truth bruises.
You show fear, the snake bites. You don't show fear, the snake says, maybe he's a snake too. Bless you, good sir. I know that sneeze anyway. Michael Dinfound from, I want to say Independent, but I know that's wrong, and the reason I want to say that is because I fucking hate the Independent, and I would love for them to have a sneezer on their staff, but it's not true. He writes for the Morning Grimsfeld. It's Grimsby based.
Grimsby?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's only for a Grimsby audience, but it's not entirely bad. They had Tobes on. Let me just say this, because you're young and you're new, and you probably had people say, you got to work for that paper. Well, they take Tory money.
My mum said that.
And your mother did that. Your mother said that.
Yeah.
His fucking mother, did you hear that? His fucking mother said, don't work for us.
She did, yeah.
His own dear mum said, don't work for us because we take Tory money.
No, it's just the way she...
No, I thought maybe a professor or something.
No.
Oh, fucking hell, son. Wow, you're doing a bit of your own little James Dean there. Okay, well, tell your dear mum,
Okay.
next time you see her, Sunday roast, give her the whole meat and 2 veg on there. Say, yes, they take Tory money. They take Tory money because if they don't take Tory money, they got to take Labour money. If they don't take Labour money, they got to take Lib Dem money, until you finally get down to, if they don't take that money, they're going to take homeless people money, and fucking homeless people do not have fucking money, do they?
That's right. According to Dr. Circle, the next stage in the Reimenheimer circle of information is the political, or if you will, erbo sanctum cinctum turbo, the governmental, or if you willer, ipdo dicto micto musk, national authority, or if you even willest, mactus cactus carpus cum, the political governmental national authority, or the national political governmental authority, or the authority of the national political, which is also made up of people like Gay Job Grease Gob, head chief Tory whip, House Majority, Senate President Leader Advisor for the UK State Department at number 10 Washington Downing. Think tank.
Oh goodness me, oh gracious God, yes, I absolutely love being a governmentarial minister. I love serving my country, I love serving the people of my country. I suppose one of the great perks is that, oh, blessed me, Holy Thursday. I suppose one of the things for me that I do so love about being working for the government is I'm just going to get that. It's so hard to be old-fashioned now, isn't it? I've got the home in Kent. I've got the Margaret Thatcher biography, but I'd be damned if I can get this cardboard monocle to stay just so. Yes. Anyway, as I was saying, I love serving my constituents. I get to go out and meet wonderful people, the people that make this the Britain that Britain is. People like Mr. Egg, a lovely, lovely chap, and somebody that. Sad to say, would have been forgotten under a Labour government, but not so under the Tories. I think you'd agree, wouldn't you? How is Penelope? Is she in school now? Oh, how they grew up so fast.
But do, I pray, tell me, whither and where does Mr. Gay Job Grease Gob get his information from? Now this is where things really get hot to the collar. Wake up and smell the truth, mother!
Or cutting the ribbon on any new porticos, at least for a good 48 hours after that. I think they give them something called Nitrex or something. When they flatten or widen the teeth. But I'm sorry, can you excuse me just a second? The government is aware of these accusations, and the government wishes to say that these accusations are ludicrous, rudicous, mudicous, and tudicous. I want to state quite clearly that the government is very well informed that there are accusations that the government is informing the press on what to inform the ordinary riff-raff, rabble, chimney sweeper, charwoman contingency. That the government is committed to launching a full, independent inquiry investigation into not only the papers, but all of the television networks that are currently in the government's back pocket. And to suggest that the government is not doing this independent investigation is quite simply wagging the bagel in front of the beagle, hoping that the beagle will bite, but this beagle is not going to bite. I'm so sorry. Now, you mentioned that in relation to your last trip to Greece, that there was a bit of a fracas on the flight.
That's right. Many people suffering from manyness do what the many do, and that's believe that information only travels from the government to the press to the Barbara. This is known as the Reimenheimer slightly longer line, first posited in 1975 by Donnie and Marie Osmond Reimenheimer, the grandchildren of Lupus Reimenheimer of the Reimenheimer very short line, and the great-grandchildren of Gustav K. Reimenheimer of the Reimenheimer square, and not, I repeat, N-O-T-T, not the Reimenheimer circle of Dr. J. Circle, which is what we're dealing with here. Mother, put that down.
We do have one for the help. Actually, more than one for the help, because we have more than one help. But that is the curse of a large estate to upkeep. And I'm sorry, can you forgive me for just a second? Oh, it is true. It is true that I do have oligarch friends, but I have oligarch friends from all over the world. I have French oligarch friends, I have German oligarch friends, of course I'm proud to say I have British oligarch friends, and I also have a very special relationship with my American oligarch friends. I did have some Russian oligarch friends, but I'm not playing with them for the moment. Hopefully that will change, but yes, I have oligarch friends from all over. I have Japanese oligarch friends, I have Thai oligarch friends, and I also have Mr. Egg. And we're having a very pleasant conversation, and I would very much appreciate it if you would respect our privacy and allow us to continue. Now, you were talking about sandboarding. Now, I have heard of snowboarding, and I assumed for a long time that the same thing could be done on the substance of sand, but I didn't know it had been done. What did you...
That's right. According to Dr. Circle, the next stage in the Reimenheimer circle of information is the oligarchical, or if you will, Hictus Dictus Michaelmas Mouse, the globulist, or if you will, Forcus Dorcas Rintum Rye, the puppet masterical, or if you even willest, Romulus Julius Helix House, the gregulus powerifical, or if thou wiltst, O willow of the wilderness, ergo fectum factum fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman, the oligarchical globulist puppet masterical gregulus powerifical. That's a mouthful. In short, there's another layer to this layer cake that laid on thick can waylay the layperson, the layer of the oligarchs. Oligarchs like billionaire trillionaire Limbard Limpet.
It's not true. Or maybe it is. Or maybe both. Or maybe none. Old Russian joke. Or Ukrainian. You choose.
But it is true. Methinks the oligarch doth protesteth too much. But sadly, too many people spoil the cat by thinking that the bark stops here. That is to say, Einstein dried fish, how many fish are in my dish? Information travels from the oligarch to the government, to the press, to the Barbara. And yes, this is the Reimenheimer square. 4 square 4. But anyone who believes this wouldn't be invited to my house for conspiracy dinner. As this recently discovered secret footage makes clear, our oligarch and our the Barbara are two sides of the same information coin. Ka-ching! Hello?
Barbara, Katala, мои красивые матрошки.
Hello, limpid biscuits.
So, Barbara, did you see that my media conglomerate decided to print your story about Meghan Markle and how she lost her sparkle?
Oh no, I'm just reading about it now. Boggles the mind, doesn't it? I mean, I can't understand. How can I be a prejudiced? I didn't know she was black. I didn't know she was a woman. I didn't even know she was American. I thought she was Lionel Blair.
and a Britain that cares about its children and that cares about its princesses. A Britain that is that rose, that is that light of life, of love and heart, that was the lady that is no more. A people's princess. Do you like that? A people's princess. Hear it once more. A people's princess. It's like a prickly pear. A people's prickly pear princess.
No! I said Lionel Blair, not Tony Blair, who is a lion.
Yes, Barbara. Now you know. Now you know what it's like to have people blame you for a war. Whether you are Russian or Ukrainian or British from Bromley and a Bramley apple pie. Just keep your head, Barbara, when the rest of the world loses theirs, and you too will own a yacht one day.
And there you have it. Because they've been best friends for years, oligarch Limbard Limpet gets his information from benign Barbara from Bromley, Britain.
What? I don't understand. What? Wait, I'm not confused. My head itches. I've got lice again. No, what's... A golden key! I expect this will come in handy a bit later on.
Who'd have thunk it? I thunked it, that's who. And this is what's known as Reimenheimer's Point by Dr. J. Circle of Reimenheimer Circle, working alongside Peter Point. Conspiratorial update. Dr. Circle and Dr. Point are currently being sued by the Reimenheimer Foundation for their use of the name Reimenheimer in their circles and points. But in their defense, I must say, what were they supposed to call them? Circles, circle, and points, point? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my thoroughly enjoyable video. If you like, click or subscribe. Do them both now.
So that's really an eye-opener. I hope you enjoyed that from Derek If at The Last American Man. Very powerful little documentary, and it really makes you think, like, you know, you can have somebody like an old lady in Bromley, you know, not even knowing that she's actually just sort of parroting the information that's being fed to her from some outside oligarch out there in rich person's land. And it really is just one big circle. And, you know, watching that, I think, you know, I emailed Derek and I said, you know, after I saw that, I think, you know, really, it's almost like we've all got our part to play in this sort of, you know, circle of, you know, weird information, and I think the best solution going forward is just, you know, just play your part in that circle, you know, just kind of find where you fit.
Why can't things be like they were in the olden times? In the olden times, we had our fair share of troubles as well, but we didn't let the skidders down. No, we pulled ourselves up our bootstraps with a song in our heart and a smile on our lips, and that's how we got about doing things, and it were better. It were always better. I've got reflexes still. It were always better in the olden days.
Don't you worry about the government. Sing a happy song and kill yourself. Don't you worry what you'll have for tea. There's enough carrots for you and me. Don't you worry about your kings and queens. Princess Kate's got a diamond minge. Don't you worry that you've lost your mind. Make way for Lord Bacon Rind. Don't you worry that the song don't rhyme. Rhyme time, mime, grime. Heim, Zoller, Nernfernten, bin Prime.
That was the latest TikTok video by Pace Car Park, which has recently been censored and taken offline because of complaints from the woke mob. People like Lindsay Anderson II from Hartford Pool, Connecticut, who complained that Princess Kate's minge was mentioned during a Jubilee year. He may have a point when it comes to protecting the royals. I'm often in favor of protecting the royals because I'm Piers Morgan and this is Balls Out. I don't wear glasses, I don't know what it's doing there.
Balls Out is an uncensored, take no prisoners, holds no bond, in your face, say what you want, don't give a damn, thank you, I'll do program. It's all about free speech. It's all about taking those melty snowflakes and speaking like a grown-up to them. Don't be a melty snowflake, nanny nanny boo boo, moles to you. Top story tonight. We're joined today by a clinical psychologist of children. Children are often part of our future, if not the whole damn ball of wax, and so we have to keep an eye on them when it comes to things like their mental health. Things like children who have ADHD or mentally autistic children. How do we know if our children are crazy or if it's time to just say, bye-bye, you're 35, move out now? Well, joining us today, as I say, is Colin Flynwood. Is that the name? Colin Flynwood of the Ernst Institute for More and More Psychology. I want to talk to you because a lot of parents come to me, I don't know why, they come to me and they say, Piers, your balls out, you say it like it is, you shop at Sainsbury's every now and then, you're a regular bloke, how about a pint? And they say, I've got a child and I think he might be a bit mad. Should I take him around the back of the barn and put a bullet in his head, or should I give him some pills? You've done lots of work with Pfizer, GlaxoSmith, Wellcome Klein. What do you think?
I used to live in the fire brigade, but that was when the world was gay. The people say hip hip hooray, I'm an Iranian shoe shop.
Some wise words there from a good psychology person right here in good old Britain, England. I'm Piers Morgan, you're watching Balls Out, Take No Prisoners. Look at me, I can say what I want. Ew. Piers Morgan, uncut, untouched, a big slab of right. Right, interesting stories coming out of Britain right now. A lot of people are asking, can Britain be saved? Is Britain still the Britain we once knew? How big is Britain? Piers Morgan writes today in the Daily Mail, Britain is under threat. Britain will still stand the test of time, though, says the handsome Piers Morgan, editor of Piers Morgan. Britain will still stand because Big Ben will always be ticking. Ask me. I know lots of people who work near Westminster. That's the news out of Westminster, but there's some other news coming out that's equally frightening. According to a friend of mine who works for a blog that he writes, if they made Rocky today, they would make Rocky black and Apollo Creed white. Which raises the question, why can't they leave these movies alone? What's wrong with Rocky the way Rocky was? Rocky is one of the greatest ever films that was made in Great Britain. I know it looks like it was made in Philadelphia, but it's an old movie. Philadelphia is an old town, and everything old is British, and that's the way it should be, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind being censored, but I do mind being cancelled. Censor me all you want, but I won't be cancelled, because I'm not a snowflake, and I won't be woke. St. George and the Dragon. You get rid of St. George, you're left with the dragon. You get rid of the on, you're left with the drag. That's what we've got right now on Piers Morgan Uncut. Austerity measures. The first thing I want to do is get the wording right, because somebody like me who is a wanted man from the woke mob always has to worry about them rounding up some sort of a cancelling posse to shut me down. So I want to make sure, because I know the woke mob have got their pistols and rifles trained on me from all areas. So I want to get the wording right here. I mean, is it okay to say something like drag act? Is that what you are you a drag actor?
No,
Is that
I'm a
something
plumber
that you're not
from
supposed to say
Romford.
anymore because of all of these weird rules now?
Which
Would
you
still say
write.
that, or is my tongue not tripping lightly
You're
over
fine.
the Shakespeare thing as Hamlet doth quaff?
Yeah, just don't call me Piers Morgan, because I can think for myself.
That's
you
what we like
baboon.
here. That's what we like here. We like a bit of ribald humor-y on,
That's exactly what it is.
on Piers Morgan,
Ribald
uncut,
humor.
unbald, ungagged, don't stop me now. I'm the wind beneath my
I
own
wish somebody
wings.
would.
Here
Stop
on
him, stop
Piers
him, he's
Morgan, my
crazy.
show. We like a little bit of banter on here.
Oh, yes.
It is nice
I
to
call
have a
it
bit
cancer.
of banter.
He calls it
Like
banter.
a little joking at my expense, because not all
Cancer for
conservatives,
culture.
according to some Labour left-leaning people, have me down as a big lump of sort of a murky grey matter. I'm much more than that. I'm a man who likes to laugh, and that's why we're glad to have austerity measures. Now, you're considered one of the foremost drag acts in your field.
Field? I can barely walk down the pavement in these shoes.
and that's just a testament to how Piers Morgan, unbound, ungagged, how far we go.
Psychedelic. It's all Timothy Leary. You never know what you're going to get.
Blokes wearing high-heeled shoes. We're not going to blush or.
I mean, it's
feel like we've,
1952
wet our
already.
trousers just because we hear something like that. It's certainly, I mean, we have to we strike a fine balance, and people like me
Very
who do like
balanced,
old
understand
Britain.
that
We
word.
prefer
Yes.
old Britain. We like the dust. We like the maggots and the rats on
And
the
Piers
east
Morgan.
side of London with those adorable little chimney sweeps we used to have, but for some reason we can't have them anymore, can we? No, not according to Stacey Jensen of the Don't Make Children Chimney Sweepers anymore, but that's another story for a different time. Now, I mean, certainly we wouldn't demand that, our Royal Chelsea pensioners be force-fed bras.
It
every
beats the
but
food.
certainly, if a man wants to purchase some eyeshadow and call himself Nancy for an hour or two,
Works for Dominic Raab.
who's the worse for wear?
Friend of yours, does he?
Very interesting. And now, let's get a little bit into your background, because I am a journalist, or so they say.
I don't say.
I'm a bit of a journalist. Let's get into your background. I mean, everybody in various fields, they've got their influences. I'm sure
like
you
cocaine.
do too. I've got my influences. I'm very much influenced by my money.
Oh.
I look on my money and I see the face of our queen.
Your mother, she is a
Very, very big hero to me. But you, in your field of draggery, who do you look up to? Who would you say today is the biggest drag act in England?
I'd say you dragged up duplicitous dildo.
I've been called many things here on the Piers Morgan Uncut, Ungagged show. I've been called Piers Morgan a big stupid donkey.
I called him
I've been
cunt.
called Piers Morgan who doesn't know his ass from his other ass.
Or was it
I've
a
been called
dickhead?
Piers Morgan a big pile of shit.
Oh, that's my
I've never been called a
favorite.
drag act. Never once been called a drag act. I've said the word knickers once in a joke, but I don't think I've ever worn them. What do you mean?
I mean that you walk around like you're Mr. Carnaby Street, love Britain, and you
we
are
can,
a
you
flaccid,
like a bit of
dumb. That's
And,
just an
if the
insult
truth
to
hurts,
people
we'll
who have
suck
at
it
least
up, I
one
always
brain
say.
cell.
It's,
You are just, you are about as smart as a smart
Do a lot of
carbon
sucking,
brick.
but God love
You
the
know,
truth. Never once
hold
been
that
called a
thought. I'll
drag
get
act.
back to insulting you in a second. What is this in my hair? It's a key, a golden key. I bet I know what this unlocks. Stay still. No. Ah. It's your brain. But it's so light. I could even wear it as a brooch. What's going on in here, Piers? What do you really think of your audience?
Long hours, no flowers, he knows how to behave. They have power, we just cower into our early graves. Keep your nose out of those things we should not discuss. We're debtors, there are betters, they know what's good for us. If you don't mind uncritical adherence, it's a fine life. If you don't mind government interference, it's a fine life.
It's a fine life.
You can avoid a life of tension with a medical intervention. Let the bombs come falling us, let them inject all of us. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Sad moments, glad moments, put them in this machine. If it's not online, what on earth does it even mean? You'll never be clever without this cyber crack. Plug in and you'll rebrand with this one crazy hack. If you don't mind life being very cruel, it's a fine life. If you don't mind rubbing your face in gruel, it's a fine life.
It's a fine life. nice.
Well, if you like to be a whore, you can be on Radio 4. It's the age of Aquarius. Don't be such a Squarius. It's a fine, fine life.
If you don't mind killing the elderly, come in. Ah, Mr. Franken.
Doc, thank God. Doc, I don't know what happened. I got in a time machine last night. I went back to the 50s and now it's 1985. Doc, I don't know. I think I'm Michael J. Fox.
Well, yes. What exactly do you...
Doc, you don't understand. I can't be Michael J. Fox. I'm not topical. I'm supposed to be a comedian. I can't be impersonating Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, well, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken, if you could just tell me what is the nature of your,
Hey, Doc. Knock, knock.
You've already entered the room.
Come on, Doc, play along. Knock, knock.
Fine, yes, I'll play along. Who is there?
What's the matter, Doc? You don't recognize me? Rocky Balboa, the heavyweight champion of the world. What are you, some kind of coconut?
Yes. Well, Mr. Balboa, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken, I'm sure we'd love to sit around and laugh all day and have fun, but I've got to make people feel better. So if you could just tell me what your...
No, seriously, Doc, I don't want to waste your time here, but, okay, here's what happened. Okay, last night, I go in the front yard, and there's a big UFO, and takes me up to space, and, 2 days later, they turn me to an alien.
Oh, come off it, Doc. You're like that goddamn ball-busting nurse of yours downstairs. You're gonna tell me you've never heard of Richard Mulligan, the guy that played Bert on the sitcom Soap? Go check it out, Doc. Go check it out.
Well, Mr. Bert from Soap, Mr. Balboa, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken, aside from you, I have 15 other patients today, very vulnerable elderly patients that require my care and attention on Zoom, which, as you can imagine, requires quite a bit of preparation. So if you could please tell me the nature of your complaint.
All right, Doc, you seem like a nice guy, so I'm gonna level with you. Here's the thing. I was doing a bit of a Cockney dance to the song It's a Fine Life from the musical Oliver, and I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden I'm kind of out of breath.
Well, I'm afraid, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Bert from Soap, Mr. Balboa, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken, you are rather old.
Old? Who the fuck are you to call me old? You come to my house, where my wife sleeps, where my children come and play with their toys. Say hello to my little friend, Kermit the Frog. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Al Pacino, yay! But seriously, what did you mean when you said old?
I mean old. Had a bit of fun, had a good innings, perhaps time you popped your clogs. But not to worry, Mr. Kermit, Mr. Pacino, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Bert from Soap, Mr. Balboa, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken. We have a treatment for this condition of oldness. Science is making leaps and bounds every day, unlike you, Mr. Dead, Mr. Ed, Mr. Franken. It's a process known as euthanasia.
I don't know, Doc. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be Bruce Willis and Mickey Rourke right now, but, it sounds to me like you're talking about euthanasia.
No, Mr. Willis Rourke, Mr. Kermit, Mr. Pacino, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Bert from Soap, Mr. Balboa, Mr. Fox, Mr. Franken. That's just your American mispronunciation. No. You say potato, I say I expect your grandmother's becoming a bit of a burden.
Doc, I'm not sure what I believe. This is old. I've never been called old in my life. Old. Doc, if you don't mind, I'm going to get a second opinion from an American doctor. An American doctor. My legs bleeding, George. Potter, motherfucker, I'm going to see an American doctor. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see an American doctor. American doctor.
One man's road takes him to the water. One man's road takes him to the sky. Oh, some
somebody's at the ocean. Come on in, man. The ocean's open. Hey, Will, man. What's up? Sit down and chill, man. Whew. Tell Dr. Free what it's all about. What's going on, man? My British doctor thinks I'm getting old. Old. I think I've heard that word before, but it's been a long time. Old is not young. Hey, man, that's a bummer. So, like, what are your symptoms, dude? Bad eyesight? Bad eyesight. I would suggest root of herb, tin tree foil with a little bit of ootmeg. Get some of that ootmeg in there. That should line up your chakras. Nothing to worry about. Easy sweat. Come and go. What else? Aching bones. Aching bones. Ooh, I don't like the sound of that, but I do like the sound of this cure. Get yourself a little tin tree. Put it on some squash. Send it around with lots of what they're called limpid carrots. Not the kind of real hard carrots, just kind of a little bit of limpid. Get it just right. You eat that about 6 o'clock. Do a little bit of a Tibetan thing. Anything. It could be just hanging up a Tibetan flag or saying the word Tibet. It'll knock out that aching bone problems in no time flat. So anything else? I don't know, just it's like a general feeling of what's the fucking point? That troubles me, brother. That troubles me greatly to hear. I don't like the sound of that. I'm gonna consult with the big wigwam in the sky. Yo, Cosmic Papoose. We got a guy down here who says, what's the point? What's it mean? What do you think it means? Got your drift. Hey, catch you later on the sun cloud. So just spoke to the big guy in the sky, and he thinks, general feeling of what's the point? I think you just became English, my friend. Sorry to be the one to break it to you, but hey. Willow Bear, where does the cosmic solstice go when you are flying? English.
You lucky bastard!
Look. You're wondering, is luck an attack on our raw ability, or are we indeed products of our path?
Indeed, I was wondering that.
Well, as luck would have it, it's time for you to sing the America song.
What are you talking about? I don't have an America song.
You need to segue into the next sketch, and anyway, ending with a song punctuates the artistic journey with a rhetorical musical footnote, creating a bridge between the world of psychic demons and the so-called real world. But remember, no matter how difficult and confusing the world seems, the authentic story is the best one. Not all points are Reimenheimer points.
They're not, egads!
No, there is Dante's point. We're close to the point. It's all about love. Love is all, and in the end, you know what?
What?
It's a fine life.
You know it really is.
È una bella vita.
Amore e il cor gentil sono una cosa. L'amor che muove il sole e le altre stelle. Just a dust town dream and an old guitar. Had to borrow the strings from the guys at the dive bar. Old man Raggy was singing the blues. Had to play a lot of pool just to buy him some paper shoes. Everybody walks, everybody talks, everybody wants to date Brandy at the dime store. Everybody drinks, everybody thinks, everybody wants to know what is a dime store. But I don't mind what business went on, as long as I got some from Brandy at the dime store. Her old man, he wasn't standing for it. We'd always laugh on Sundays when he shouted from the pulpit. I took my old feet, then I put them on the bus. Then I remembered the rest of my body. I don't believe that the body's a mist, and I can leave town through psychokinesis.
and frogs and Billy with his logs down at the dime store. That old dime store. If you question my intent, I'll tell you what I meant. I'll give you my 2 cents if you got a while to listen. Tired of all the gripes. If you cut me through my pipes, I'll see only stars and stripes. 'Cause I'm an American. I'm an American. God bless you.
America, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They went and they stripped and they hung me high. Left me there on the cross to die. Dancing wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on. Wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. Danced on a Friday and the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They buried my body and they thought I'd gone, but I am the dance and I still go on. Dancing wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on. Wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. They cut me down, I leapt up high. I am the light that'll never ever die. I live in you if you live in me, 'cause I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Dancing wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on. Wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he.
Start again, please.
Mr. Sandman, bring me some sand. I don't have an ocean and I live in land. I have always wanted a beach. Mr. Sandman, bring me some sand. Do 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 do. Mr. Sandman, I called you last night. I left a message regarding the sand. Please return my call at your earliest convenience. Mr. Sandman, bring me some sand. Do 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 do. Mr. Sandman Wonder, this is the Sandman. I received your call, but I was away on the beach. Let me know when I can deliver the sand. I can usually work Tuesdays or Thursday. Do 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 do. Mr. Sandman, thank you for getting back to me. I'd like maybe a 1 bucket of sand, or maybe 2 or 3, just enough to get me started until the sand can make its own babies. Do 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 do. Hello, it's Mr. Sandman. Got your message last night. You maybe think the grains of sand are just like rabbits. Sand do not breed and make other sand. Sand is just, it comes with, just what it is. They never would have released that song if those were the lyrics.